Hello everyone and welcome to Be Safe, Brevard County's program to keep our citizens safe. I'm your host, Sheriff Wayne Ivey, and today we're going to talk about crime prevention. We have some incredible guests that are going to join us. I'd like to jump right into the program. We've got a lot of material, so I'm going to start by introducing Lieutenant Mike Scully from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, who heads up our crime prevention and community relations. Lindsay Deaton, our community relations coordinator, and no stranger to our show, Major Todd Goodyear of our violent crimes section at our Criminal Investigations Division. So welcome everybody, and thank you for being on our show. As you know, the format is we try and give our citizens as much information as we possibly can to help keep them safe in Brevard County. So Lieutenant, let's talk a little bit about crime prevention. How's it changed? How is it different today than it was 5 years ago?
We've made a significant change in our crime prevention efforts. We're really putting a significant amount of effort on educating the citizens and preparing our citizens to protect themselves and their families and their businesses. If we can help them stay safe and be safe in our community, we can make a real difference in our crime rate.
Okay. Now, Lindsay, you have a new job there at the Sheriff's Office, a newly designed job, and you're working with the community. Kind of what are some of the things you're involved in?
Our goal right now is to get as much information to the community in all different aspects as we can, whether it be churches, 501c3 nonprofits, community outreach events, or just go into Rotary clubs and things like that, trying to give them information to keep them safe. All
right, we'll talk a little bit as we go in about how an organization like that can actually reach out for us or one of our local partners in law enforcement, because it's not just the Sheriff's Office, it's our community partners across the table. So we'll talk a little bit about how they can reach. And then Major, you've done an amazing job over the years with all the different things you're involved in. What types of crimes are we seeing right now in Brevard County that we probably need to get as much information out as we can?
You know, luckily for us right now, violent crime seems to be on a downturn. We did have a spike last year in our homicide rate, which really was a couple main cases that caused that upturn for us. But so far this year, you know, we've seen things stay pretty up to date with what the state and the nation are seeing. That violent crime seems to be down a little bit. I think it's some of the initiatives that were started with Game Over and getting the professional people that we have working those crimes. We're still getting a lot of stuff with computer crime, with economic crime, identity theft, and those types of things. And people need to realize with computers and cell phones and the technology that we have today that it's wide open to just about everybody anywhere in the world.
Yeah. You know, you talk about computers and everything. Computers not only have created a new kind of crime or a new crime trend, but they've also given us some advantages to defeat those crimes or to actually give our citizens information. And I know, Lieutenant, we're at the Sheriff's Office, we're working in a whole new realm there with some of our computer crime stuff and also with some of our message or our medium delivery tools that we have out there. So how has that changed?
Sheriff, as you well know, we're really beginning to take a multi-pronged approach at our delivery of our message and our safety message to the community. You know, not just looking at our oral presentations, but we're beginning to take advantage of the technologies that are out there, whether it be social media, whether it be streaming media, whether it be the television media, print media, and radio. So there's a lot of opportunities out there that we have not taken advantage of in the past that we intend to take advantage of now. And it's all about delivering that message and getting the message out to the community so that they can keep themselves safe and safeguard their families and their businesses.
Well, you know, historically, when you looked at crime prevention, we would go into a neighborhood and tell everybody, you know, in the past month or 2 months, you've had 6 burglaries in your neighborhood, and you've had, you know, a car that was stolen, those type of things. But that's not the same tool that we're using today, is it?
Correct. And you know, today's technologies are so far advanced and continue to advance. I'm very excited about the things that we're going to see in the next few years as we begin to evolve from that traditional neighborhood watch concept to some of the new electronic neighborhood watch concepts that are out there and that we will be showcasing in the immediate future. And the opportunities there for not only for us to deliver our message, but the opportunities for the citizens to begin to network throughout their communities and throughout the business community is just absolutely incredible. So significant opportunities there for us to deliver our message. I think there's significant opportunities for us to make real impact on the crime rate in this county simply by taking advantage of the technologies.
Right. Major, let me come back to you for a minute. Lieutenant Scully talked about crime rate, and I think there's a little bit of an illusion as to what creates that crime rate. And for us, I know we've talked about it 1,000 times already, but for us, we want to keep you from becoming a victim. Once you've actually, your home's been burglarized or you've become a victim of any type of crime, you're a number in the box, aren't you? You're actually already causing that crime rate to increase. So how do we calculate all of the different crime rates? What are some of the crimes that we look at throughout?
You know, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. Some people look at property crimes, which are your burglaries, thefts, those types of things, which are basically your money being stolen. Then we look at violent crime, which is a person's crime, homicide, sex crimes, child abuse, and those types of things. And then, of course, we come on to the computer crime side, which is a little bit of everything, where we can have a person's crime where someone has met a child through the internet and tried to have some personal contact with them, or perhaps they've tried to get pictures from them, or it could even be stealing an identity to go through and do a lot of damage to both your personal life and as well as your bank account.
Okay. Now, Lindsay, in your new role, we're trying to reach kids before they reach us, is I guess our long-term plan. What type of activities and events do we engage in at the Sheriff's Office with our not-for-profit organizations?
Right now we're doing a lot of different things. A couple weeks ago we did a event at a local restaurant where we had our bomb squad, our K9 unit, a lot of our different areas in the Sheriff's Office to come and teach families and kids and the whole 9 yards about crime and how we could prevent that and how we can keep them safe as a family, as a child, and what we can do in that manner. So we're doing things like that, along with going to schools and teaching them crime prevention and bullying programs and things like that. So we're trying to reach them in all avenues and areas.
All right. Now, you talked about going to the schools. I know we've partnered with a program, Mark Miro, Champion of Choices. Mm-hmm. Tell our viewers a little bit about that program. What does it involve?
Mark Miro is an old MMA wrestler who was a champion, who had a lot of downward spirals in his life, and he has come back and now trying to get people not to bully and not to be afraid of what can happen in your life and just try to be positive about it. And so he goes into the schools along with our group and teaches them what happened in his life and how he overcame it, so then those kids have somebody to talk to. And he also reaches out for them on Facebook and email. If they ever need anything, they can contact him or the Sheriff's Office, whatever makes that child comfortable.
Okay. You know, we're in just the first few minutes of the show, we've talked about email, computers, everything else. Todd, that's a big part of what we do now at your unit. Tell me a little bit about our cyber crimes unit and some of the things that they do to protect our citizens.
Well, we have quite a wide range of things that we do. We have 3 investigators now that are constantly on the internet, whether it be posing as a 13, 14-year-old boy or girl, whether it's actively trying to find people that are trading child pornography, or it may even be something with a stalking or a bullying case where kids have sent pictures that they shouldn't have sent to somebody, and now that's being used against them. So we spend a lot of time there. We also outreach with crime prevention. I've been in the schools now for about 3 or 4 years, talking to elementary school, junior high, and high school kids about how to be safe on the internet, what to do, what not to do, all the different things that are there. Because even to the point of with a high school kid that's getting ready to go to college, they don't think about those pictures they put on Facebook that possibly a college admissions person's going to look at and say, well, I don't think you're the person for our college. So we go even that far, you know, not so much just to give them that ability to understand that pictures are forever now. You know, back in the day, and I'll date myself, a Polaroid picture back in the 70s and 80s we really weren't too worried about, but a digital media today that can be alive for 50 years can come back and give you some real problems down the road. And we try to make them aware of that, because right now that is one of our biggest things that we see is the photo sharing opportunities, not just with computers, but with cell phones through Instagram and Snapchat and Kik and Photo Bucket and GigaTribe and all of these different places that you have that you can put a photo out there on the internet, not to mention just normal social media that we all know about with Facebook and Twitter.
What's the best way to keep your kids safe with a computer? We
joked about it earlier, just don't turn the computer on, but in reality we know that we're all going to use the media. So the things that we always talk about, the first and foremost thing that I talk about to kids and to parent groups is communication. If you have an open line of communication with your child or with your children, you have got a big start on keeping your child safe on the internet, because once they feel comfortable that they can come and talk to you, and I use the thing of the kids know more about computers than we do. They've grown up with them. It's second nature for them. And if you go to them and have them at a young age start to teach you about things, how to do instant message, how to chat, how to send a picture or something of that nature, they begin to become comfortable with talking to you about what's going on with them in the computer. And when something bothers them, if that line of communication is open, they may come to you at that point in time and tell you that, which may stop an incident before it occurs. So probably the most important thing is the communication between the parent and the child.
Yeah, you know, two things that I want to feed right off of that. One of the very first shows we did on Be Safe was about child abductions, and there was a parent on here from the West Coast, and they actually talked about just essentially what you were saying, and that is that you have to have that open line of communication, that you never want your child to feel like they can't come to you and talk to you because you're going to become angry, or there may be some punishment or something associated with that, and that there's got to be that balance. And the parent was very very focused on telling our parents and our viewers that your child has to be able to walk in the door and say, this is going on in my life, because if not, you're missing an opportunity to be able to talk to them and maybe stop it. So the other thing I want to feed off of is what are Polaroids? I'm not real sure. Lieutenant, do you? Lindsay, I know you don't know what Polaroids are, so, but you're right. You know, historically, when we looked at bullying and some of the words that we've used today, it was on the playground. It was not in our computer room. It was not on our mobile device or any of those things. And it's totally changed the game of everything. But those are some of the things that we have to take advantage of too, in being able to reach our audiences and things. So, Lindsay, I know you've been very instrumental in a lot of the Facebook features that we're now using at the Sheriff's Office. What's our goal there? What is our approach with the Facebook, and even we're going to having our own iPhone app that will be out there, our mobile phone app?
Well, our goal for our Facebook pages is kind of twofold. The first fold is to deliver crime information in a different way than people have ever gotten it. The other is to make sure that the community sees what's going on at the Sheriff's Office, so everybody's up to date. There's never a question of what somebody's doing good or anything that's going on. So we try to deliver them all of the information that we can on what's going on, what's current, and then current crime trends, and how to protect themselves from becoming a victim of any type of crime.
All right. Lieutenant, is that different than what you and I started out doing? And
oh, no question. I look at the technologies today and I think to myself, holy smokes, when I started in the business, we had a teletype machine in the comm center, and now we have, computers in our cars. We can do more in our cars literally than we can do in our own offices. The technologies have made our job so much easier. But the message delivery, the social medias that Lindsay is involved in, the information that I get from that is incredible. Our employees do so many great things every day, and when I look at our Facebook page and I go, wow, so and so did this or did that or got that award, to me it's personally gratifying, because it says volumes about the caliber of our employees.
Right. Now we're changing a little bit in our delivery across the county. In fact, we're right on the edge of starting what I believe and what I've been able to research is one of the first programs in the country of crime prevention partnership. And I want you to talk a little bit about how that plan's going to work, but I find it very interesting that when we look at crime prevention, we're basically starting a crime prevention task force. But when we look historically at task force, and you mentioned Game Over earlier and narcotics and everything else, we've always created task forces to go after certain types of crimes that have already occurred. Game Over going after violent crime, narcotics, working the narcotics investigations. Even right now, we're in the process of starting an economic crimes unit. But all of those are designed to come in on the backside after there's been a crime committed. We're doing a little something different now that we've partnered together with many of the local police agencies here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Something very innovative, and when you came up with the idea of doing a crime prevention task force, it was one of those, sometimes the most obvious solution is staring us in the face, and began to do a little bit of research on it. And while the concept of a crime prevention task force is not new, there's been other agencies that have done it, the way we are going to do it is entirely unique, where we actually are reaching out to our law enforcement partners and working together to present programs, innovative crime prevention programs where we may not have enough resources, or say the Rockledge Police Department may not have enough resources. We can work together with them as one unit, and the opportunity there is amazing. We're going to do some incredible things working together with all of the agencies that are going to be involved in our crime prevention task force, and we really see an incredible opportunity to do some great things in the community.
All right. Major, we look at the different types of crimes that we've created task force for. When we look at crime prevention and using a task force to do it, one of the things that we have to look at is delivery of information, being consistent across the board. How do we make that happen? How do we get everyone to deliver the same message, and especially when it comes to computer crimes and that type of stuff, because not all agencies have a computer crimes unit.
Well, you know, the nice part about crime prevention is we all are in it together, and we all know that we need to do certain things to protect the citizens of Brevard County in order to make that crime rate go down and to keep them safe and their families safe. You know, the first thing is buy-in from all of the partners that are involved in this, and I think this is an easy buy-in, knowing that this is probably the most important thing that we do. If we can cut crime rate, it makes our job easier and allows us to do some of the other things that we'd like to do and spend more time on the violent people and that so-called small percentage of people that are really causing a lot of the bad crime. You know, on the computer side, it's a matter of educating people, and unfortunately, it changes every day. I mean, with the guys that are working it back there in our task force, you know, they come every day and go, hey, we just found out a new thing. We just found out a new place that the predators are hanging out. There's this new application that the kids are into that are causing us a lot of problems. So one of the biggest problems that we will have as far as keeping that crime prevention up to date is keeping on top of what the changes are. And as I said, the software and hardware that is coming out, and updates on the phones and applications change daily, which make it an extremely tough thing to keep up with and to get out to the citizens as far as what they can do to help protect themselves.
If you had to break it down, and we talked beforehand, there's no prepared questions. I just feed off of everything that you guys have. But if we had to break it down, what steps can our parents take to make their kids as safe as they possibly can on that computer? As you said, computers are a way of life now. They're things that we are going to be dealing with. So what are the steps, if you had to put it in a 1, 2, 3 category, what are the best things our parents can do for their kids?
Well, if I go off the research and I go off of what we've been doing since 2005, the first thing, as I said, was communication. Second thing they found out are rules. We have rules for everything with our kids, but it seems like the computer, we're afraid to put a rule on that. And what they've shown is that if you start kids young enough with rules as far as where they can go, what they can do on the computer, how much time they can spend, those stay with them, because you can watch them at home, but can you watch them on their phone? Can you watch them at a friend's house? Can you watch them at school? But if they have rules, they tend to follow those rules, and we relax them as they get older, but they stay and follow the rules and tend to get in less trouble that way. The next thing is that they need to understand that there are bad people on the internet. There are people out there that want to hurt them, and that just because someone says they are somebody doesn't mean that's who they are. I can go online and say I'm 13 or 14-year-old boy or girl. Obviously I'm not. These guys are doing that all the time, because on an instant message chat, we are just talking. There are no pictures. Video chat, another thing that the parents really need to be aware of nowadays is video chat, because the kids are on Skype and Uvu and some of these things that are video media. And the bad guys and the predators are out there taping it on the other end, and the child's not going to know that that recorder's on. There's no red light that goes on. There's nothing that tells them that this is being recorded. It's all on the end of the predator. So the kids have to know that those people are out there trying to do these things, that the person they're talking to might not be exactly who they think they are, and that pictures that they wouldn't want mom and dad to see, don't take them and don't send them. And if we can get those things kind of done, we've taken care of a lot of the problem.
Man, you're throwing out terms that I know I've never heard of, and probably most of our parents have never heard of. It makes sense to me that we probably need to put together, if we haven't already, and knowing you probably have, but a program that actually speaks directly to our parents and explains and articulates what a lot of this stuff is and how it comes to pass. I know one topic that always comes up when I'm speaking at different events and stuff is, should our parents have our kids' passwords and all of the other components to that, and how do we get around that? How do we get our parents to feel comfortable in telling their kids they need their password, and not make the kid think they're not trusted, which is a great part of them growing up and maturing.
It starts when they're young. One of the first things you can do is set them up with their own profile where you have all of those things in that they can't go certain places. Parents' profile, they can probably go a lot of different places on the internet, and we understand that because we're adults. Kids don't need to be able to go to those, and you can set those parameters up in their own little profile. You know, their password, the biggest thing I tell parents, don't give the kids your password, because once you've done that, they're now into your profile and they can go wherever you can go. But if you start young with them and they're used to that, they have to give you the password, they have to give you their logons and their screen names and those types of things, they get used to it. You know, the other thing that we tend to forget is we need to be parents. We're not friends of our children. You know, although we want to be friends and respected and liked by our children, we are there to protect them. And sometimes you got to do the hard thing, which is you have to be a parent. You have to be a little stern. I had a parent ask me one time, what do I do if my son doesn't give me my password? And I said, did you buy the computer? You own it? Yes, take it from him. He'll give you his password. Right. And sometimes we have to do those things, which our kids may not like. They might get upset with us, but in the end, what we're trying to do is make sure that we protect them from the bad that's out there on the internet, and that's one way to do it, to be able to go and check on them and make sure that they are being safe and doing what we want them to do.
You know, we do that with our kids when they first start driving. If they if somebody tells us they're speeding or they're driving erratically, we take the car from them. The computer is just as dangerous as that car, in a different type or a different setting, but that computer is just as dangerous and exposes our kids to so much out there. Lindsay, I know we've got a lot of different public service announcements that are coming up as we're going through. What are some of the different areas that we've identified that we are going to be trying to get information out to our citizens throughout the county?
Well, we're going to start using streaming. There's a lot of different areas of streaming that you can go on through the internet, which connects to your YouTube, your Facebook, Twitter, your Xbox, PlayStations, so we can deliver them through that area. We're also working on developing an iPhone app so we can get them the PSAs through that as well. So if somebody has the app, they can pull up the PSA on that. Just a lot of different areas. We're going to be using email, a lot of things that have already been in place for a long time. We're just going to use them differently. We can email out to everybody the link to go to watch the video on the PSA and how they can protect themselves, and they can click on it at their time versus when we're showing it on Ustream or something like that.
I find it so ironic that Major Goodyear is talking about all the different things we have to be worried about with the computer, and we're on the other side talking about all the great things we're going to do with the computer. A lot of different programs, Lieutenant, a lot of different things that our crime prevention unit is engaged in across the board. If our crime prevention team came in today and was set up, what are the things that they would talk to us about? What are the different mindsets they want us to have?
Well, the first and foremost is the biggest issue we're seeing right now in our community, to kind of tag on to some of the things that Todd's already talked about, is identity theft. Identity theft is huge, and we're seeing a lot of requests for identity theft presentations, frauds and scams presentations, and that is our primary area of focus as we sit here today. What it will be tomorrow, you know, because of the rapidly evolution of technology, we're not really sure, but we're trying to stay cutting edge, right up with what those crime trends are, looking to see what types of cases we're investigating, how those cases run, and then trying to tailor our crime prevention programs to counter those crime trends. So, we're always trying to educate our citizens. We're trying to make sure that our residents have the information to protect themselves and to keep themselves safe before they do become victimized, and they ultimately are a case that Todd's staff has to investigate.
All right. Now, I know we've got some neat programs that are going to be rolling out. We have a DUI program that we're going to talk to everyone of all ages about the hazards of drinking and driving and the options they have there. What other programs do we find important? I know we're trying to reach our computer, our cyber crimes, identity theft, violent crime. We do a program, self-defense through mental preparedness. But what are some of the other programs that we make available? I know we have our teen driving program that's out there, and when we talk about crime prevention, it's important to understand we're talking about crime prevention across the board, and part of that is keeping people safe. So our teen driving program is probably one of our most popular that's out.
Absolutely, and fortunately, we've got programs that range the entire age spectrum from as young as 4 years old all the way to our senior safety program. So, you know, some of the interesting things or some of the great things that I think we're looking at doing today, we have people actually this week in training for a new program that we're going to be initiating called Rad Kids, and that is essentially a program that's designed to educate our young children how to keep themselves safe and how to keep themselves safe in sometimes violent confrontations or violent situations, how to deal with bullying, and lots of other types of safety materials that go along with Rad Kids. So that's a very exciting component as we move up the age spectrum. Teen driving, Sheriff, we have actually the #1 teen driving program in the state of Florida. Out of the 36 sheriffs that are teaching teen driving, we're the #1 provider here in Brevard County of our teen driving program, and we have an incredible teen driving program, and it's perfectly free to any parent who wants to send their teenage driver. So, and it's an 8-hour day on our driving pad, and when these kids finish, I think they have a new respect and a newfound understanding of what that car really is all about. So it's a terrific opportunity, and if people are interested in having more information on our teen driving program, they can go to our website, www.brevardsheriff.com, and click on the teen driving tab, and all of the information on our teen driving program is there.
All right. Now, I know we have another program. We're getting short on time, but we have another program. And Lindsay, just real quick, touch on Stopped. What Stopped does for our driving and our kids.
Stopped basically is a protection for the student driver and the parent. It's a sticker that we can place on the back of the child's car to where if they were ever to get pulled over or in trouble, the deputy that pulls them over is automatically going to contact their parent or guardian to tell them why they were pulled over, what happened, if they got a ticket, if they didn't get a ticket, and how they responded to the deputy themselves to kind of keep that communication line open with the sheriff's office and the guardian or parent as well.
So if the sticker's on the car and that teenage driver gets stopped, law enforcement is essentially through email or through telephone going to contact the parent and say, this is why I stopped your child?
Correct. The parent gets to choose what level of communication they want, whether it be email, text message, phone call, or written communication in the mail. And then when that happens, the child gets pulled over, the deputy pulls the number up and sees how the parent wants to get contacted and contacts them through that measure.
Excellent. How do we get to Facebook? We're real close on time, but how do our viewers and our citizens find us on Facebook?
There's 2 Facebook pages. There is Brevard Sheriff Wayne Ivey and Brevard County Sheriff's Office. So they can search either one of those on Facebook, and either one will pull up and they like it, and then they'll get all the crime prevention information.
Excellent. So, well, as we wind down the show, I want to thank each of you for being with us today. Volumes of information. We could do a 3-hour show about all the different things that we're doing. Major, always great to have you on the show, and thank you for all you do for our agency. Lindsay, welcome aboard. We are obviously going to have a great time. And Lieutenant, just thank you for all you do with our community relations. I'd like to thank our production team and thank our viewers for being with us here today on Be Safe. Please join us for our next episode of Be Safe.